It's the controversy sending shockwaves through professional tennis and competitive sports as a whole. Will Novak Djokovic really have to sit out of the U.S. Open? Well, if the Biden administration gets its way, Biden's vaccination policy is blocking him, one of the world's best tennis players, from competing based solely on his personal decision to remain unvaccinated. My next guest is stepping up to fight Biden's unfair policy in the name of medical, personal, and competitive freedom. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn is here now to give me the exclusive. Senator, first of all, I am so happy that you represent Tennessee, and I'm so happy to be in Tennessee. But now you're stepping up and you're making a change. Tell me about what you're doing to try to change this ridiculous policy.
We have a letter that we've sent over. This is absolutely absurd that the Biden vaccination policy is going to keep him from playing. And he should be playing. He is the best. And he should have the opportunity to come and to compete. So we're pointing out the ridiculous nature of this. You know, it's amazing. The pandemic is over. Pandemic is over. And you can get on a plane, you can go to work, you don't have to wear a mask. There are people who are relaxing vaccination policies because, Tomi, they have figured out it does not keep you from getting COVID. There are people that have been double vaxxed and double boosted and are lining up for a third booster, and it does not keep them from getting COVID. So these policies of you can't do this or you can't do that, or you can't serve in the National Guard or the Army Reserves, or you can't play tennis, you can't go in and be a member of the military unless you have been vaxxed and boosted. This is ridiculous. We have passed that. It is time to just open sports back up, to open our military up. And this is a great example of where they're keeping some of the best from participating, because if you don't get that shot, then they're going to find a way to shut you down.
Do you think that this is going to move the needle at all, that the Biden administration will be responsive to this letter and everything that you and others are doing to try to get rid of this policy? Or is it going to go nowhere or fall on deaf ears?
Many people think it'll fall on deaf ears, but there are things that begin to happen when the American people speak up, and they're hearing a good bit about it. And this is a way to highlight it. What you all are doing is going to help highlight it and build support.
Senator, I also think the hypocrisy here is glaring. We've got hundreds of thousands of illegals coming across our border. No vaccination policy for those folks, yet somebody who wants to come to our country and compete, somebody who has decided to remain unvaccinated for his personal reasons, is not going to put anybody else at risk for his personal decisions. He's not allowed to. Do you think that the Biden administration is going to be able to get away with that kind of blatant hypocrisy, even amongst Democrats?
What they're going to face in November is a reckoning. This election is going to be a referendum on the Biden administration policies. And people look at this kind of hypocrisy and they see these bus loads and plane loads of illegal immigrants who have no vaccinations, many of them no vaccinations of any type. And they're coming into communities, into school systems, into social service agencies in your local community. And people are saying, hey, what is going on here? And the hypocrisy is being played out where people can actually see it in their daily lives. And then they read about an iconic athlete being barred from playing, and they're going, hey, wait a minute, this is just a reach too far.
Certainly is. The last thing I want to ask you, Senator, because I know that your time is precious and you've got a lot to do to fight for the American people, but I want to ask you about the motivation, or you think the possible motivation on why certain Democrats and certainly this administration does not want to let the COVID pandemic go. People want to return to normal life, but I believe if Democrats had it their way, we would all be masked once again, and we would all still live in fear of COVID, though we know that it's no longer a great threat. Why do you think that is, that they are holding on so tightly to it?
They need a forever pandemic to push their agenda. They needed to have mail-out ballots for this election. They need a forever pandemic in order to make people fearful, because people who are fearful are easier to control.
You hit the nail on the head, and I'm so glad that you brought up the mail-in ballots, because I think that there's always something to be worried about, and there's always an excuse to change the voting system. And of course, Democrats love control over everything else. But Senator, thank you for what you're doing. We know that your voice is so strong and so powerful, and we're so happy that you're taking a stand. And once again, I'm so proud to be a resident of the state that you represent. And we'll see you here in Nashville very soon.
Very soon. Thank you so much, Tomi.
Thank you, Senator.